My name is Aine Garcia, and I'm the Executive Director of our Bilingual Education, Translation, Interpretation, and Community Outreach Department in Las Cruces Public Schools.
My name is Kilgore, and I am Coordinator of English Language Learner Programs with Las Cruces Public Schools.
We have an interpretation group within our department and in our district. That group serves our Spanish-speaking population, and that is the predominant language other than English spoken in our city. However, for a while now, but most recently, we've had an influx of families from other parts of the world where Spanish is not the primary language. And so we're looking for ways in which we could communicate effectively and appropriately with families whose language was not Spanish or English. And so that led us to looking at different programs like Boostlingo, because we saw the need, but it's not a huge population in our city yet. And so employing maybe a full-time person doesn't quite make sense for us yet, but having that availability is crucial to our communication with our families.
So response from our staff has been wonderful. I think that it has given them a very organic, and the ease of being able to reach out and communicate with families has been amazing from our staff, knowing that there is now an interpretation service that we can use and not have to fumble between piecing together what we can communicate with and then sharing with families. So it has been wonderful. Our staff does use it quite a bit. We have it in all of our schools who are supporting students whose languages are other than English and Spanish. And onboarding actually was quite easy. So it was very easy and fluid to give the information out to our schools and our other community outreach programs and be able to allow them to immediately start using Boostlingo with families. They use it in a variety of ways. So they have the app that they can use from their phone, but they can also access it through logging in as well. And when we sent out instructions for the use of Boostlingo, we gave them all of the options that were available to them so that they were able to access Boostlingo in whatever manner was easiest for them, as well as for the families that they were communicating with.
Sure. I think, at first we had a lot more communication just as we were getting up and running, but we know that it's always available as we need it. It's been really useful and helpful and pretty instant, or, within a little bit of time, we'll hear back if we have a question or need a new account, like a new email login or things like that. So it's been really helpful to work with Abby in our case, but with all the staff at Boostlingo, they've been incredibly responsive and, answering our questions or helping us if we get stuck. At first it was more, but now that we're up and running, it's not as often.
So Boostlingo is being used in a variety of ways. We have a very strong community outreach program. So we use it a lot of times with home visits. We also use it within schools when they're making communication home to families, just on everyday operational issues, like school is maybe releasing early for whatever reason. It can also be teacher-parent conferences that we've used it for. It can be for, your student had maybe a difficult time finding which bus that they needed to get onto to get home today, just calling and letting them know its bus number, whatever. So just day-to-day operations from the school side. We also use it for more formal meetings, sometimes that are set up with schools regarding students and their progress within the school setting.
as our families have been here a little bit longer and perhaps their students are acquiring English faster, that ends up being something like just kind of historically in the case of immigrating families, that the children become the interpreters, which sometimes puts children in inappropriate situations. And so we've really tried to speak to our staff about, in most cases, the best practice is really utilizing the interpreter through Boostlingo rather than the child. There are, some cases where, tomorrow's the day we're all wearing blue, that might be okay. But in most cases, especially for more formal conversations or conversations where parents are ultimately going to need to make a decision, we don't want to place that burden on the child.
So I think for us, the flexibility in usage time, number one, because our needs vary, right? We had an influx at the beginning of, it's been about a year now. It was immense, and we needed lots of minutes, and just being able to fluctuate in the flexibility in minutes and usage to meet our needs has really been amazing. Also, I think the responsiveness of Boostlingo and just the being able to use it immediately and being able to use it through your phone, almost like FaceTime in a way for many of our languages, maybe not for all, but being able to use that phone connection has been very important for our families, something that most people are used to in communicating via phone. So being able to use that versus text messaging, for example, having a real life person on the other end interpreting for you has been amazing.
I think the other thing that maybe stood out to us versus another program that we've used is the ability for us as district administrators to view the usage across the district and also specific schools, so that we had a better sense of who was using it and how to track it. We've used things in the past where we didn't know until we received the invoice at the end of the month, and then you're kind of caught in a gotcha or a surprise situation. But with Boostlingo, we can check, we have it on our calendars, we can check every week or every 2 weeks or however we want to set that up, but it's available to us to check all the time. Often refugee students, when they come to us, we do an intake kind of situation where we're asking questions about schooling and interrupted schooling or history of schooling, things like that. And just in working with our resettlement agencies, a best practice can sometimes be that students are retained a year upon arrival because they've missed a lot of school or maybe haven't had access to school or different things. And then just acclimating to a new country, a new culture, and all of the new language. And so recently we had a situation where a school was really thinking that although that was the right thing to do about a year ago, that now for a variety of reasons, a student would do better if we went ahead and placed them at the right quote unquote age grade level. And so initially, some of those discussions actually started with the parent where interpretation was not involved, and the older sibling was used in that discussion. And so, that might be an okay way to start a conversation, but coming from our standpoint, we want to really make sure that one, the parent is fully understanding what is being observed by the staff, make sure that they have the opportunity to express what they're observing, and then that they know everything that goes along with any decision that is made within that conversation. And doing that through an older sibling or doing that just in English with maybe some TPR and pictures can't really give us a sense of security that the parent truly understands what we're discussing. And so we made sure that Boostlingo was a part of that conversation for the entire conversation, and that, the parent really got all of the information that they needed, had time to process it, had time to ask questions, and then ultimately was part of making that decision with the team at the school, of course. So that's an example where I feel like it's really essential, because kind of just giving basics and here or there, I think that could lead to a lot of confusion and decisions being made where the parent might feel like I don't want to say tricked, but just not informed in the way that they should have been. One of the things we do in Las Cruces, our different agencies will do something around the lines in the holiday season of something called Dress a Child, for example. So families are selected and then they get to go to a store, Kohl's, Old Navy, you know, whatever store it may be, and then they get paired up with somebody from the community, and then the child goes around and gets to shop basically for themselves, which is wonderful, but could be challenging if the person that, like a child who speaks, say, Korean or Pashto gets paired with somebody who doesn't speak that, there could be some confusion. So we recently, there was some other circumstances around a certain family getting to attend one of these functions. And so we made sure along with getting them there and making sure the family understood what it was and what they were going to do when they got there and all of that, we also made sure that even though it was on a Saturday and really not directly connected to our district, that the agency hosting it also had access to utilize Boostlingo when that child was getting to go around the store.
So I was also thinking the use of Boostlingo with our International Welcome Center student and family advisors, which are also part of our department. And they do a lot of, again, various work within their roles, but they are also tied to community outreach, and they really make that bond, and they are that liaison between families and the school itself. They are located within the schools. So I think just getting our families set up when they arrived was very helpful in using Boostlingo, and then just those day-to-day things that we take for granted that we needed help with. Again, I go back to, the bus situation. You're in a new country, you don't know the language. It's scary. Everything is new. And we would sometimes have students who might have been left at school, not on purpose, but just navigating that whole bus system, which is scary to me. And I speak the language. So our International Welcome Center student and family advisors would use Boostlingo to be able to communicate with families, just to let them know, hey, they're here, they're safe. They weren't able to get on the bus, but we do have your student and they're safe, they're okay.